Chaos Uncontrolled Chapter 4 Hiding and Seeking.
Good morning to those who are tuning in for more answers about last night's blackout. Power is still out in most of the city, and officials are still baffled about the cause of the phenomenon. In a new development, some eyewitness accounts place Sonic at the site where the blue lightning started. Sonic is yet to provide any statement on the matter.
The room looked up from their breakfast and at the portable radio on the table. Confusion was etched into their faces, but no one wanted to speak over any important information.
An Eggman attack has also not been ruled out. We continue to urge citizens to help each other out and report anything strange to the officials. This is Scarlett Garcia, providing updates on the half hour. Thank you and stay safe.
The radio broadcast ended and some calming music started to play in its place. Mr. Tanaka walked over and turned the radio down.
So, there's a copy of me too.
Do you think this other Sonic caused it?
Amy crossed her arms. Surely no Sonic would do such a thing.
Maybe it's not actually Sonic. I mean, it's not like it's the first time we've dealt with a duplicate.
Everyone thought over Tails' words.
Well, if it's known Sonic, what could it be?
We don't know, Amy, and that's why we need to get searching. Tails, think you can get us a view from the sky?
Of course.
Hey Tails, mind if I ride with you?
Not at all, Chris.
Great! While you two watch from the sky, Sonic and I can search the city. I want to know who this imposter thinks he is.
Everyone scooted away from an angry Amy and her newly summoned hammer.
Of course, Miss Amy, that imposter won't stand a chance against you.
He better not.
Everyone let out a breath they didn't know they were holding when Amy put her hammer away and plopped back down on the couch.
Excuse me, but what can I do?
Cream was giving the room an innocent look that she was well known for.
Why don't you come with me and Tanaka, sweetie? We're going to look around town to see if anyone needs help.
Ella placed a hand on Cream's head and looked at her with a warm expression.
Okay, I like helping people.
Cream smiled brightly and rocked on her heels with Cheese happily chirping by her side. No one in the room could feel bad when Cream acted like this. She was just too adorable.
Alright, I'll stay here and keep an eye on things. Everyone know what their role is?
Everyone in the Thorndyke's kitchen nodded at Chuck and got up. Chuck, Chris, and Tails headed for the garage and Tornado. Amy, Cheese, Ella, and Tanaka for the main door, and Sonic for the window. The amount of footsteps that filled the room woke Sam from his place on the couch.
Hey, wait, what about me? My car is stolen, you know.
No one was left in the house, so Sam's complaint went completely ignored. Wachowski had been avoiding the Bat and Human all night. The two of them had been tracking him relentlessly. The Bat would launch from the sky and direct the Human to his location. He didn't want to get into a fight with them, but their relentless chase was getting tiring and Tails was running low on tricks. They had already come up with a system to work out if he was actually a hologram or not. The Bat had a seemingly endless supply of cards and would throw one every time she saw him or a hologram. And his holograms would get destabilized and disappeared if touched, so her technique countered his perfectly. Tails yawned. He hadn't gotten any sleep and he felt his decisions getting less and less thought out. He had to lose them so he could sleep. Ahead was what looked like a long abandoned construction site. Those tended to have a lot of nooks and crannies to hide away in.
Hey kid, it's okay, you don't have to hide.
Tails was above them in the rafters listening to their conversation.
How hard can it be to catch one little kid?
The Human rubbed her face in exasperation.
Oh, are you getting tired? Do you need a nap?
Rouge, this is serious. He knows something about the lightning and we need to know what.
Rouge rolled her eyes.
Topaz, he's a kid, not a dangerous criminal.
I never said he was. But this is big, Rouge. Gun needs to know what happened.
After hearing that name, Tails couldn't think about anything else. Gun. The very same name as the organization that had tased Sonic, locked him and his brother up, provided Robotnik with plenty of metal to build his robot with, and had created a whole elaborate operation to marry into the family to keep an eye on Sonic. And Tails was certain that they were still watching. The whole organization had been created because of Sonic to protect the world from alien creatures, and he and his brothers definitely still counted in their eyes. Tails sometimes had nightmares of the organization swooping in and taking him and his brothers away. There had been enough of them for Tails to experience every possible combination multiple times. The organization scared him deeply. So if they were in the same thing in this world, he was 90% sure that he was in an alternate world. Why was this bat helping them? Didn't Gun dislike his kind? And in his groggy state, the only thing that he could think of was that she was being forced somehow, and must be scared, even with how casual she was being. Tails was impressed by her bravery. He had to rescue her. Sonic Wachowski found a newspaper with another him on the front. The hedgehog, who looked just like him, was posted in front of a pile of smoking rubble under the headline of Sonic Saves the Day Again. Oh cool, another him was a famous hero here.
Huh. Looks like he chose the hero life.
Sonic was perfectly content being a kid, with the occasional hero gig, nothing too major, and he didn't get why his counterpart would have that as his choice when his family was so close. But he thought he seemed pretty cool anyway.
I just gotta make sure I never run into him. That's the rules, right? Never meet or touch yourself? Wait, or is that time travel? Better to avoid him anyway. I don't want to blow up time and space.
Sonic folded the newspaper scrap up and stuck it in his quills. Might be useful later.
Okay, time to work out what to do. I'm stuck in a different dimension, and I don't know where anyone is. What's rule 1?
Sonic began to pace back and forth in the alley.
Right, of course. Don't meet yourself. Maybe. I still don't know. Rule 2? Don't be suspicious. People never let their friends' counterparts know. That's gotta be for a reason, right? He'll need a disguise.
Sonic looked around but couldn't see anything he could turn into a disguise.
Darn, nothing. I'll have to find something later. Okay, rule 3. Rule 3. What was rule 3?
Hey, is someone back here?
Uh-oh.
Sonic slapped his hands over his mouth. This whole time he'd been speaking aloud. He did it all the time when it was just him, but did it less when he moved in with Tom and Maddie. But the habit hadn't completely disappeared. Sonic dived behind a dumpster and tried to stay out of sight. The person who entered the alleyway was a blonde human with glasses and a blue jacket. He looked around the alley in suspicion and took out some kind of gadget. He waved it around and it beeped a few times. The man stepped forwards and repeated the action. Sonic was holding his breath to make sure he wouldn't talk. The man was getting closer and closer, and Sonic's mind was going into a panic. He had to make him go away. But how? Sonic couldn't think. Panicked when with the first thing that popped into his head.
Meow?
He said it. He just said it. It didn't sound anything like a cat and was distinctly spoken. Sonic was so busted. The man reached for him and picked him up. Sonic did not like being picked up by a stranger and began to struggle.
Sonic, why are you hiding behind a dumpster?
Uh-oh, this guy knew the other him, and by the rules he came up with for being in a different dimension, he couldn't make him suspicious. He could pretend that he was the Sonic he knew, but that normally led to a big confusion between the characters involved, and Sonic had no idea what the other Sonic was like. He could pretend to be an entirely different blue hedgehog. Surely they weren't that unusual, right?
Who's Sonic?
You?
No, I'm not.
So you mean to tell me that you're some other blue talking hedgehog who's got nothing to do with Sonic?
Yep, now you're getting it.
The man put Sonic down and kneeled down to his level.
Alright then, what's your name?
Sonic hadn't thought of that part.
Keen Reeves?
Sonic held his hands together and gave his best innocent smile.
Keen Reeves. As in Keanu Reeves?
Sonic gulped and nodded.
Yep, that's me, Keen Reeve. My very real name.
Sonic, I'm a teacher, remember? I have experience with...
The rest of whatever he said was cut off by the sound of low flying plane. The X-tornado flew over the city with Chris and Tails inside.
You see anything, Chris?
As Tails flew the X-tornado, he kept an eye on the Chaos Emerald. It had flickered a few times in response to the Chaos energy from last night, and would probably help them find the cause.
No, nothing. Wait, I see Knuckles.
Down on the ground, Chris could see a red shape moving along the ground.
But is that our Knuckles or another copy?
I can't tell from up here. You'll have to land the plane, Tails.
Right.
Tails began to press buttons to bring them back down to the ground. As the plane flew closer to the ground, the echidna stopped to watch it land.
Hey Knuckles, is that you?
Knuckles looked very annoyed at Chris's question.
Of course it's me. Who else could an echidna possibly be?
Knuckles had a slightly bitter snarl to his voice.
Sorry, Knuckles. But you saw that blue lightning last night, didn't you?
It's the whole reason I'm even here. I need to know what could possibly cause such a huge pulse of chaos energy.
So you don't know anything either? But you know more about chaos energy than anyone.
Nope, sorry.
Knuckles turned to walk away, but Chris stopped him.
Wait, Knuckles. Have you seen any copies of us around here?
Copies?
Yeah, apparently Sonic was seen at the origin point of the lightning, but he was with us the whole time. And apparently I stole Sam's car, but I definitely didn't.
Have you actually seen these supposed copies?
No, but that's why we need to find them, especially if this other Sonic was the cause of this.
I seriously doubt he caused it on his own. No living being just naturally has that much chaos energy.
We did have a theory about them being Eggman robots.
All the more reason to find and stop them. So you going to help us search, Knuckles?
Tails hopped onto the X-tornado and offered a place to Knuckles.
You can go in the sky if you want, but I prefer to search the ground.
Okay, we'll see you later then.
Chris waved to Knuckles as the plane took off and the echidna began his search. Rouge was in a different room to Topaz when she felt something pulling on her arm. And when she looked that way, she saw the other Tails was trying to get her to move.
Come on, let's go while she's distracted.
Now this was certainly interesting.
Who's distracted, hon?
The gum lady, you can get away now.
Rouge looked at other Tails. He looked scared.
The gun lady?
Yeah, come on. If we go now, she can't hurt us.
Rouge was concerned. What had Gun done to this kid to make him so scared?
Well, you certainly are a little hero, aren't you?
Rouge decided that it would be a good idea to let the little fox lead her along. He wasn't running anymore, and she might be able to get him to talk.
I certainly try to be. It's just like one of my dad's Wachowski family specials. Being a hero isn't about taking care of yourself. It's about taking responsibility for other people.
Your dad must be pretty smart.
He is.
Rouge walked along quietly, watching this other Tails, asking him questions about random things, like his inventions, and adding in some of her own tales of heists and treasure hunting. The kid was getting more and more willing to talk, and was looking very sleepy now. It was probably a good time to ask more pressing questions.
So the Wachowski family, huh?
Yep, there's me, my two big brothers, Sonic and Knuckles, and my mom and dad. Oh yeah, and our pet dog Ozzy. Can't forget about him.
Rouge's brain had to take a lot of time to process that. For one thing, this other Tails had just mentioned Sonic and Knuckles. Does that mean that there's another Sonic and Knuckles around? Rouge really wanted to see what they were like.
Two older brothers, huh? That must get difficult.
Sometimes, but they're great. We get along most of the time. Sonic and Knuckles do bicker a lot, but it always works out in the end.
Sonic and Knuckles fighting sounded on brand for them. Rouge found the idea of the two of them being brothers very entertaining, especially with how unsocial the versions she knew could be.
So, do you and your brothers live together?
Yeah, we have the whole attic to ourselves and...
He stopped and pulled out the device that he had activated the holograms with and started to wave it around.
You okay there, hun?
I don't want to risk saying anything Gun could use against me in case they're listening in.
You're really worried about Gun?
The young fox paused and dipped his head down.
They hurt my family.
Rouge reached out to put a hand on the kid's shoulder, and he jolted and met her eyes.
Hey, don't worry. Gun won't hurt you.
Rouge's heart tightened. She herself was a gun agent and the kid was so scared of them. Rouge did not want to deal with the emotional fallout if he found out. Other tails yawned.
You've been running from Gun all night, haven't you?
He nodded.
You get some rest. You've been very brave.
Other tails looked anxious, but eventually settled down to rest. Once Rouge was sure he was asleep, she called up Topaz.
Hey, Topaz.
Don't hate me. Where did you go?
Keep your voice down. I'm with the kid.
Wait, kid? Do you mean the other tails we saw?
Yeah?
Did he tell you anything useful?
Some stuff about his family. It seems like it's possible another Sonic and Knuckles are here too. And he's terrified of Gun.
Huh?
He didn't tell me anything other than they hurt his family. That's why I'm with him. He was trying to rescue me from the scary Gun lady.
Whoa. The poor little guy does sound scared.
I am not bringing him to Gun.
Then what do you suggest? If we're caught hiding him and he does have important information about the blackout, we could be arrested.
I was thinking we keep him.
What?
Relax, I'm joking. Besides, he already has a family.
You are such a nuisance.
Yeah, but I'm your nuisance.
Hey, enough of that. We still need to decide what to do about the kid. Where are we going to be taking him if not Gun?
Where else would we take him? The Thorndikes, of course.
Amy stomped around. She had wanted to search with Sonic and confront his imposter together. Now she was looking for two speedy blue hedgehogs.
Where is Sonic? He really has to stop running off like this. It's unbecoming of a hero like himself.
As Amy came around the corner, she saw what she was looking for, a blue hedgehog. Amy ran over and tackled him into a hug.
Oh, Sonic, there you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
Amy squeezed him tight, not wanting to let go. But when a jolt of electricity shot through her body, she let go and fell to the ground in shock.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
A fast, apologetic sounding voice that was not Sonic's poured out of the hedgehog's mouth. Amy brushed herself off and stood up and took another look at who she thought was Sonic. He looked like Sonic, but more childlike, and with blue arms. This was that imposter that shut down all the power. How dare he cause so much problems and potentially get Sonic in trouble? Amy summoned her hammer and got ready to swing it.
Okay, now that's really cool, but please don't hit me. I said I was sorry.
The hedgehog impersonator hopped backward and away from her swings, and with each step, blue electricity arched across his legs. Maybe this was an Eggman robot.
Ow!
An extremely lifelike one, the possibly robotic hedgehog had taken a misstep on a discarded chip packet and had given Amy the perfect opportunity to smack him with her hammer.
You thought you'd get away with a pristine Sonic, didn't you? Well, you didn't.
I'm not trying to be him. I just look like this, honest.
Likely story. Now what's his plan?
Who are you even talking about?
Who else? Eggman, of course.
Eggman? Why would I know what his plans are?
You're one of his robots, aren't you?
Amy lifted her hammer and pointed it more into his face.
No, I'm not a robot, especially not one of Eggman's. That guy's the worst!
If you're not a robot, then explain how you electrocuted me.
I don't know. It mostly just acts according to my emotions. Nux might know a tiny bit more. He can do it too, but he told me that he doesn't know much either.
Wait, Nuts? That's one of Knuckles' nicknames. Did Knuckles know this guy? But wait. Amy backed up in her thought. According to the Sonic impersonator, Nux could do whatever lightning thing was too. And she'd never seen Knuckles do anything like it, even with the Master Emerald.
Nux?
Yeah, my big brother Knuckles.
Amy stood still, trying to process that. From what she knew about Knuckles, he wanted nothing to do with them most of the time, and would only sometimes show up when they needed his help.
Oh great, look at what you've done, Sonic. You broke her.
Okay, he was talking to himself now.
You just have to work out what you said and go from there. The last thing you said was that Knuckles was your big brother, but that can't be. Wait, are we not brothers in this universe? The one about Tails,
The rambling hedgehog clamped his hands over his mouth when he saw Amy had been listening in to his discussion with himself.
You're from a different universe, aren't you?
Amy pointed a finger dramatically at him.
No, I'm not.
You have to be. That could give an explanation for all the questions I was asked today.
Okay, yes, I'm pretty sure I'm from a different universe.
See? That wasn't hard. Why didn't you just tell me in the first place?
Because it's like a rule or something that you're never supposed to tell someone that you're from a different dimension for reasons.
That was the most ridiculous rule Amy had ever heard.
Since when was that a rule?
Since like every film, TV show, or video game involving time and space travel ever.
You're basing what you're doing on a movie? How dumb can you be?
Hey, I'm not dumb. Those things take a lot of people to make, and that's a reoccurring thing that happens. So they've got to be based on something, right?
Amy had to admit she could see the logic in it.
Okay, I get it. But I still think it's a dumb way to plan on what to do.
Sometimes the best plans are the dumb, barely thought out ones. I can't be outplanned if I don't even know what I'm doing. Improvisation.
That sounded very much like Sonic with how reckless he can be at times. Except as you crossed him with a puppy on a sugar high.